All right. Good morning, YouTube. How's it going? It looks like I have a screen sharing issue here. Give me a second. What is going on? What is going on? So everybody's out there doing. Give me a second. I'll pull that back up. And we'll fix this. Hopefully. Hopefully we'll fix this. You know how that goes. Computers never cooperate enough fully. So we had some tornadoes in Iowa yesterday. Look at that weather snapshot. Looked like some double barreled. They had a couple videos and pictures of two of them coming down basically in the same grid square. Would not be fun. You know what I'm saying? Hope that wasn't anywhere near Jim. QC Hemp lives out there in Iowa somewhere. So those storms are pushing out east, so be ready. Anybody else out that in the path of that? Let's pull up some of that video though from those tornadoes just to get a little perspective, I guess.
Reports of funnel clouds in the Des Moines metro started pouring in around 3 o'clock Thursday afternoon. These men stepped out of their Ankeny workplace to see a fully formed tornado touching down in the distance. The storms moved east and inflicted serious damage on Bondurant.
This one went right over our house.
An ominous wall of debris churned above a residential area. You can hear the panic in the witness's voice as he wisely tells others to get to safety.
Oh my God. Honey, get inside. They just went a house.
The tornado tore through a Bondurant neighborhood, taking roofs, siding, and entire floors of homes with it. This home was 2 stories on Wednesday. Luckily, no one was home Thursday when it was destroyed. Next, it was the Vermeer manufacturing plant took a direct hit.
Just a bunch of mangled buildings and cars upside down and into each other.
Cars and trucks thrown around like rag dolls. The plant was left mangled in pieces. The storms jumped to the north, losing no steam at all, with Marshalltown taking a catastrophic hit. Watch as the top of the 132-year-old clock tower is ripped from the historic Marshall County Courthouse. It landed in the middle of a downtown street, surrounded by other debris and damaged vehicles.
Of tonight to an event.
Oh.
Bank of America has a new way to refinance.
Get out of there. All right. So that was the situation in Iowa yesterday. Did not look like fun. I thought it was, I know it's rather humorous for the guy to be like telling his wife to get to safety. He's sitting there staring at the storm destroying the neighbors' houses. It's, you might want to get to safety yourself, partner, you know. But that was hopefully I saw some injury numbers, but I didn't see any fatalities. So hopefully everybody made it out alive of that yesterday. But when you can just see that the way it picks through even a neighborhood, and just some houses are gone and others right next door are unscathed. That's that you count your blessings. What is going on here? How are we coming through on your end out there? We still reading. I've got a glitch in the matrix on this end. I'm not sure if it's how bad it is. Give me a 1 if you're still reading me okay and you're still seeing good video. Might get a little bit of buffering for some reason. I don't know what's going on here. All right. But yeah, those tornadoes were definitely an interesting sight, but at the same time, you know, obviously dangerous. You know, guys get, like it shows pictures of guys getting out of work. Like when you're local, I guess you can, you know, go out and like, oh, look, the tornado. People like the unindoctrinated like us out here be like, run, run. There's some links below to several different stories on that. But hopefully none of that repeats itself today as that those storms move east a little bit. You could probably expect Missouri to have issues, and Long, I don't know, you're still in tornado country. If those continue to move your way, you probably could get something. Be on the lookout for sure. On our end of the country, we got these wildfires that all right, I got ones. Okay, cool. It's the Matrix is lying to me, maybe. The forest fire down here in Yosemite is definitely getting expanding. I think they only had it under a certain, and this smoke is coming up our way. We're getting a lot of this. This is on the west side of Yosemite.
Smoke, the smell of smoke.
This lady leaves Iowa from the tornado, misses the tornadoes, gets in the middle of a forest fire.
You know, we've been planning on coming here for years and finally made it, but a little disappointed, but like I said, we're here.
And if it was clear, we would be able to see all of this.
We actually have not seen any cancellations, so which is great, and it's not impacting business. And it's come through 41. Restaurants are still open. Everything's still open. I think that's important to get the message out. We're open for business.
Well, they didn't show so much of the fire in that one.
Champions 30th anniversary sale.
All right, let's hush up on that. But it's 21,000 acres right now, which is relatively tiny, but it's got so much trees and forest to burn that it can it's putting out a lot of smoke on that. It's 4 miles from West Yosemite. Here you can see kind of the footprint. This is the Yosemite Valley up here. Let's zoom in on this. It won't let me. Okay. Oh, I can do that. Let's see. Oh, wait, there we go. Here's the valley here. This is the western entrance. One of the western entrances. This is the only way in here. So don't go to Yosemite if you're planning on visiting right now. But all that smoke is still hitting us up here. The smoke is traveling generally up the Sierras, and we're just getting inundated with it. Wednesday was bad. Yesterday was just, you can notice it. This morning it didn't look terrible. It goes hits and miss, but it's not pleasant. So it's definitely a lot of smoke covering a lot of area in the long run. Let me go in the side chat. I haven't said hello to nobody yet. It's a weird Friday. I don't know that I've... Hey, Walter Davis, good morning. Wes Seth has joined us. Good morning, sir. How are you? Just missed a few of your subs, right? What am I doing? Pirating? What am I pirating? Oh, pirating ads. I don't even know how to do that. I don't know that I did do that. Maybe am I in trouble? I'm concerned now. Alicia, good morning. How are you? Barry Woods with us. This is Crazy Scotsman. We got the whole crew in here today. Everybody just decided to show up. You're all gonna be so disappointed, or not. Let's see how this goes. Remember, throw out your own information out there. We can also look something up for us real quick before I get sidetracked. The Adventurer's Guide to the Galaxy is with us. Good morning. How are you? Shepherd 3, welcome to the chat. How are you doing? Right, Wes, you guys are used to them. You just sit there and watch the tornadoes. Yeah, run and dig for cover. Yeah, that was too close for me. Those guys standing out side the business, just watching that. It's like, whoa. Yeah, I'd have been running way before that. Tommy Born 9's with us. Good morning. How you doing? All right, moving on. The president's Trump. Just as soon as I, sing his praises for at least having the common decency to speak to Putin and be a leader, and he goes and he's talking about the Federal Reserve and getting involved in that, just proving, I think, that he's just as in on it as the rest of them. Don't want to give him too much credit for anything, but concerning signs the president's upset about the Fed tightening rates because they're trying to control inflation, and inflation what keeps the economy going. It's a catch-22. I think it just kind of proves that point. But more importantly, outside of this and his concern about the tightening rates of the Fed is the institution of ready to tariff all goods that come out of China. This could get much more ugly. I'm glad I stay out of Walmart. I'd probably notice. Has anybody noticed in their shopping if this has actually changed anything? The thing I've been noticing is that gas prices haven't done anything since 4th of July, which is kind of odd. We're in that time frame where you'd usually see a spike before 4th of July and it would like hang up there, but we didn't even see a spike when the gas prices were getting up above oil prices were up above $70. And now with these tariffs, I don't know how it's going to affect other things, but we've already issued $34 billion in tariffs so far, according to this, and he's willing to put tariffs on all $505 billion worth of Chinese good to U.S. imports. So that's good to know. So this looks like it's more talk and a discussion about a trade war, not so much ready to institute policy. He's just speaking here to the interviewer, and he's indicated that he is willing to do that. So obviously not giving up all your cards, I guess, to the Chinese in this interview, is still holding the big club in the back to use. So I think I'd take that with a grain of salt. I don't think I'd panic too much about that, the way the headline wants you to. The headline seems to imply that it's imminent, but I don't think we're there, fortunately for all of us. But it's still being discussed and promulgated widely, so you can figure it will have an effect on a lot of different things price-wise in the long run, depending on what the Chinese want to do. And we did that article a couple of days ago about the, was it on Zero Hedge? The just utter pointlessness of this supposed trade war, and how it affected the budget deficit and spending and all that. Is just a circular job there. Yeah, that was, I think that was Wednesday, actually. You check the links in that. But people threatening each other with, and supposedly stocks fall as the Fed Trump knocks the Fed again. Who doesn't knock the Fed? I knock the Fed every day. So I guess they're implying about that article. But it would be nice if everybody had salted the Fed on a regular basis. We might be better off. What's going on out here in the side chat? Locked and loaded with us. Good morning. What's up? Good job on keeping those. You hitting that. You're putting those videos out right when stuff's happened. That's how I even knew about those Iowa tornadoes. That's some serious stuff. Nobody's noticed any prices issues. Wes's gas is hovering around 265. Yeah, we've been right above $3, which I figured we'd see closer to 350 this summer, but it hasn't happened. Just order them to inspect every container from China. Yeah, that would shut the port. Port of LA would shut down. Long Beach there. That would be bad in a lot of ways. Imagine how mad the truckers would be that would be backed up trying to wait to pick that stuff up, et cetera, rail cars, everything else. That could get ugly. We're about 15 minutes in here. 331 on gas for Barry up there. Right on. Meat prices. Have you seen a change in meat prices, Alicia? Is it they talk about the pork price in particular being a concern. They've seen anything anywhere else other than bacon, of course, is the bigger concern. Like, got to make sure you get your bacon. But also today is the day of the that's the southern the Cape of Good Hope was to secede or to order the South African government out of its territory that we've been following for the last couple of days since we've heard wind of it. I did that short video that was shut down by the heat yesterday, which I didn't get to get into everything, but today is that decree, that ultimatum was put down. I haven't seen anything that stated any of the results of that, or if anything actually happened today, or if anybody has had any confrontations. At this point, it seems like South Africa is pretty much ignoring it. But yeah, it was interesting in my look yesterday into digging down into some of this older history of this. The actual formal ceremony of secession was June 4th. They actually have a YouTube page, and they had the ceremony out here, and they streamed this live or whatever. That's in your links below. But yeah, I found it interesting how much this news has been suppressed. When, if anybody's been watching the news, or been watching the news, watching this channel at least, when we do the morning stuff here, we've been talking about the South Africa land grab stuff for months, and this issue never popped up at any search or any links or anything, and it's been ongoing since back last fall. I can find links to different stories about the different issues popping up now that I've matched them up. But as much as I've searched secession, and this never came up, unless it only pops up if you specifically put specific search term in. Like here, you can see how specific we had to be to get this to pop up and bring up the articles. Yeah, here's October 30th. Different parties have been popping up since the South African government said they were going to expropriate land without compensation, etc. So that's interesting, and it's been ongoing. So it's not necessarily definitely not a new all of a sudden flash in the pan issue, as we kind of seemed like it was on Wednesday. Hey, Mule Team's with us. What's going on? Avoid those tornadoes, Mule, whatever you do. That would be advisable. Chicken and pig prices. That's the meat prices you're seeing, Alicia. Oh, wow, Wes. $1 overnight? So you're saying I might be able to actually make my money back if I sold some pig on my end. Okay. Oh, locked and loaded. Did you see the recall on blood pressure pills from China? Laced with cancer-causing material. I can't believe we're dumb enough to buy meds from China. Right? And they're producing medical equipment more and more often too. Cheap medical devices, implants. It's not. I don't think they're in the IV market yet, but a lot of the other medical appliance stuff is starting to trickle in, like from like you're saying, the Far East. Whereas, a lot of it's made in like Germany, places like that. Not necessarily in America always, but a lot of it's still in made in America. Like a lot of your scalpels and stuff, high quality instruments are sometimes made in Germany and places like that, depending on what you're getting. I mean, all your medical suppliers are all multinational corporations, so they're all over. They bring it in from all over. Wes, you got a good friend that's got good goat? That sounds like a good deal. I gotta get my gyro recipe ready. So yeah, this South. I can't. Oh, I say Cape Good Hope, New Hope. I keep messing up the name. So State of Good Hope with their flag there. So that's in your links below to this video in their YouTube page, which has got about 5 videos going back to May, I believe. Part of their public outreach. Just goes through all their agenda and a lot of their purpose, I guess you'd say. It's, you never know, could be seeing the new nations, which are old nations, in a roundabout way. Wes can find 0 news. Yeah, like I said, Wes, I had to type in specifically. I originally typed in South Africa secession, and then it gives me recommended it gives you recommended searches, and I just kind of click through these to get a little more of, see if it drills down any or find any more. So here's a whole Cape party that is about secession from the ANC controlled. Everybody's trying to get away from the communists, essentially. So here's a whole party dedicated to it. So I don't know if they were part of that coalition that formed the State of Good Hope or not, because they did mention the coalition of tribes as well as the white populations that were involved in that. That's a pretty good logo. I think this is just a small piece of the territory that it's just down here, so that's part of that. It's encompassed by that area of the declared state. Interesting. What else we got going on out there? Anybody got any other issues in your area? Anything popping on the radar? Here's some old tweets. The Cape Party is on Twitter. They got tweets back here back in October. So you're gonna Brexit, Cape exit. Everybody's got to get a hashtag. Hey, Castaway, good morning. How's it going? Is Russia taking some South Africa refugees? I hadn't heard that. We were talking the other day that M. Long knew people in Kentucky that had South Africans on their ranch there in Kentucky helping out while they're awaiting refugee status, I believe, or something like that. Walter Davis says 1,500 farmers. So 1,500 farmers were taken, Walter? Is that what you're saying? Let's see there. So it pops up. So RT has an article from a day ago. Yeah. 50 families of farmers from South Africa may soon resettle in Russia. Russia offers sanctuary for 15,000. 15,000 white South African farmers are offered sanctuary. 15,000. So we talked about, and I was hypothesizing the other day, would these, like this tribal succession, or would any of these agencies receiving the international support in their efforts to resist the government? Maybe Russia is a possible angle. The Australian government seemed to sit on its hands, but nobody else seems to be doing any outreach. So there you go. This goes back as far as July 10th. But 4 hours ago, first 50 families. So this is an RT article. The first families of Boers, descendants of the Dutch settlers, could soon be moving to Russia to escape rising violence against farmers. Some 15,000 Boers want to leave South Africa and become farmers in Russia. I wonder if any of the current events are changing anybody's mind with these tribal coalitions and outreach to, and the concern from the tribal people as well as the Boers that, about the attacks on farmers and stuff like that. Let me get this in your links below. They're settling in Russia's southwest. So along the Ukrainian border, that area, the heavily farmed area, I would guess. So earlier, Adi Schillenbusch, Schillebusch. That's an old Dutch name, I would take it. But this guy visited Russia's farm belt in the Stavropol region. His grandfather was murdered at his farm. There's some of the people that are moving, I guess. That's the family. That's the Shellbush family in Stavropol. Sure. Talking about the bad government of South Africa, rights groups, 74 murders in 2016, 2017, 638 documented attacks. That's documented and reported. Who knows what the real number is? But they confirmed that 15,000 Boers are ready to leave the country. Maybe Russia will just give them some arms and let them fight. That's always a good option. A Russian delegation is due to come to South Africa to work out a more detailed resettlement plan with the Boer community. Reverse migration, maybe? There's probably not room in the Netherlands for them to go back, so go back to Europe. Interesting. Hey, Jeremiah Johnson, good morning. How you doing? Yep, that's what you read, Walter. You got all your stuff growing well, Tommy boy? That's good. We got to water our stuff by hand to get anything to grow around here. Yeah, Alicia, you always wanted to visit Russia. Seems safer than Europe. Well, it still depends on where you are in Russia. You got to remember, you still have fringe border areas in Russia that are still subject to terrorism. They still have the Muslim influence, the Chechnya border areas, all along the Kyrgyzstan and Kazakhstan border areas, etc. Former Russian influenced areas like that have terrorism issues within the populations. But I wouldn't say it's any worse than living in Chicago. Probably a little safer than Chicago, actually. So there's that. They got a lot of freedom in Russia, so it's not quite as safe as the safety's not a high priority, but there's probably a little more freedom. I'm not sure what the self-defense laws are, though. That's probably more concerning. Can you defend yourself amongst the madness? It's like, Mad Max is okay as long as, you can carry your own AK and do your own thing. Hey, Stefan, it's been a while since we've seen you. How's it going? Yeah, Stefan, M. Long, our buddy up there in Kentucky, was saying the other day that he knew some local farmers in Kentucky that had some visiting farmers from South Africa where they were waiting to get a certain status. I don't know if they're waiting for refugee status or some other form of official recognition, I guess you'd say. Well, Wes says farmers making out in South Africa would have it relatively easy in Russia where it rains. You say that, Wes, until the winter comes. I don't think South Africa gets the winters that Russia does. And South Africa is just in a drought cycle. They don't have that drought issue all the time. There's a YouTuber called Survival Russia. He touches on what Russia is like. He's from Norway. Okay. Yeah, I haven't delved into Russian YouTube. I've touched on some of the European side. That one guy, back when this whole water thing in South Africa first popped up, the one guy was visiting. He was from France. or maybe he was from the Netherlands, but his parents lived in South Africa. He went and visited him. He talked about the water issue, and he brought his girlfriend was German and whatnot, but they were visiting. So he has a drone, like he does a lot of drone videos out of Europe. All right, Wes, see you later. Yeah, I got to get to work too. We'll check you later. What's Germany safe? There's only black criminals. Is that right, Stefan? I'm not. I'm not sure what that. Well, I don't consider RT a Russian source necessarily. They're a corporate media outlet. I'm talking about more of a, individual level perspective, like the YouTube channels like mine or Alicia's or something like that. I don't know of any those types of channels out there. There's the one lady from Germany, Inka. I can't remember her full name, but I follow her on YouTube. She does a lot of streaming chats, but I can't understand half of it. Hey, Black Cat, what's going on? Survival Rush is a pretty good channel if you're into bushcraft. Okay, so he's really focused on. That's cool. Yeah, I guess you have the ability to subtitle your videos if you really wanted to get a good outreach. So, yeah, but the news blackout is crumbling a little bit, I guess, on this whole South Africa thing, but it's not a total news blackout. If you know what I'm saying. So we know the Russians are looking at 15,000 farmers. You'd hope that some of this secession breakup movements might give people some hope, but it depends. Hey, Rooster, how you doing? You made it. Congratulations. Do you get smoke from any of this Yosemite fire, Rooster, or do you have any fires near you? We were looking at that at the beginning of this, and just talking about how we're getting all that smoke from Yosemite up here. All right, folks, that's our Friday rundown. Lots of stuff always going on. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for dropping in. Watch out for those tornadoes out there in the central U.S. It looks like it's could be having another day hitting pretty hard, so be on the lookout. I don't know that I'd be outside watching them like people in the videos earlier. But still looks pretty unsettled weather out there. See if we can dig down through the subterfuge that's put out there by the regular media and see if we can find out what's really going on at some level. Or not, depending on what we do. Oh, snap. Hey, QC. Thanks for checking in, man. I was looking at those tornado videos earlier, first thing in the chat, and I was like, I wonder if this is anywhere near you. You survived unscathed? See if QC responds or if he checked out already. You have QC. Some of those people sitting out there watching those tornadoes making me nervous. Oh, you got some good rain for the garden, and that's it? Okay, I guess that's a good day. That was all west of you for the most part? Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure exactly where in Iowa they were. I'm not even sure exactly where you are. I think I know you're kind of on the eastern side, right? But yeah, that was some pretty interesting video out there with everybody just standing around looking at tornadoes and guy yelling at his wife to get inside while he's videotaping outside and everything, and the neighbors' houses go up and stuff. It's like, okay, whatever trips your trigger, I guess. All right, folks, have a good day. We'll enjoy the week, get ready for the weekend, get started the weekend. If you check in with us tomorrow morning, we'll see you tomorrow or somewhere else out here on the interwebs. Live free.